Hey, welcome back everyone. This is Cool Cat here, back with another tutorial. Today's Godot topic is going to be in-app purchases, specifically for Android. This is a topic that really isn't delved into often. It's kind of niche, but it is something that I had to learn how to do the hard way. And it was a process that I really wouldn't want anyone else to have to go through, because it's actually pretty simple, but the documentation has a lot of fluff, and a lot of tutorials are for Godot 3, and there's some changes between 3 and 4. But anyways, let's get on into it. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is just install this Android build template. And what that's going to do is once it installs, it's going to create an Android folder in your directory. And we can refresh this. Godot auto refreshes, but if we want to go ahead and see it, all you have to do is go into your downloads and then to our Android building demo, and you can see this Android folder. And all that's going to be in the Android folder first is just your build folder and then this build version file. So what we're going to want to do is add a folder of our own called plugins. So this is where we're actually going to put in the Godot Google Play Billing plugin, and that's actually going to be our next step. So let's go ahead and do it. So this is the Godot Google Play Billing GitHub repository. This is where you're going to actually get your release AAR and your GDAP file. Those are going to be what we're going to put into our plugins folder. But anyways, you might be inclined to actually read the README, and there's some valuable stuff in here if you want to compile it for yourself, but you do not have to. So what we're actually going to want to look at is just this releases tab, and then you're going to download this zip file, the most recent zip file. And then once you've downloaded it, go to your downloads folder, you should end up with these two files. And these are going to be very important, because what we're going to do is go back to our billing demo, and we are going to put both of these files into our plugin. So it might not say or indicate in the editor that we've placed them, but if we go back to our folder, to our plugins, we can now see that they're within our project. So from there, what we need to do is export, go to this export tab, and we're going to create an export preset for Android. So we're going to fix this import, and then we're going to check the Gradle build and check the new plugin tab for the Godot Google Play Billing. So this will just mean that our plugin will be recognized by the export template, because something very important for this is that you need to have an Android device connected to your system. This was something that was kind of a hurdle for me, because I didn't have an Android device at the time that I was learning how to do this, and so I had to order an Android phone. I'm pretty sure that you can do this in an emulator too, but I just figured it would be a worthy investment to actually buy an Android device off of Amazon. So when you're actually testing the feature, in order to get it to work properly, you do need an Android device, and it needs to be hooked up via USB. So once you do that, this remote debug tab will be highlighted, and you can actually run your project on your phone. It's kind of nice. Honestly, becomes a bit of a hassle later on, in my opinion. Just because the build times take a while. So anyways, we're going to create a demo scene to test out this feature. So we're going to call this the purchase tutorial, and we are going to create a label, and then another label for debugging. This is going to let us know any alerts if the plugin fails, which, considering that we have not gone into the Google Play console and create an SKU, some things could fail, but we're going to get a purchase, a demo purchase up and running. So, and then we're going to create a button. I was thinking of the button name there, so got a little ahead of myself. Call it purchase item. And so now, what we're going to want to do is just purchase, something like that. And we're going to make it pretty big, because why not? Put it in the center. And what we're going to do from there, I'm actually going to change the size here. I like to do it this way. just so it'll be easier to click on a phone. Oh goodness. Okay. We're just going to keep it like that because it's unimportant. What is going to be important, though, is the script for our purchase tutorial. So I'm actually just going to paste in this code because most of it is just hooking up signals to one another. But I am going to explain what's happening. So first thing I'm going to do is paste in our variables. And this is going to be a test SKU. And SKU basically just identifies the item that you are trying to pull the purchase data for, so that Google knows which item you're trying to purchase. And then I've got my variables for my labels just for convenience purposes. I don't like addressing things by the $sign. Like it's fine, but if you end up changing it, then it gets annoying. So then I've got my payment and the purchase token. These are going to be null right now because you're going to set them up later. And then we're going to hook up our ready function. And in our ready function, we're actually going to set up the signals for the Google Play billing. So this if statement is going to check if we have the plugin installed, and then from there it's going to try and set up our signals. It's giving us a lot of squigglies right now because we have not actually inserted the functions we're trying to call in our signals, but I'm about to do that. So here we go. Let me get rid of our process. We're not needing that here. Just bad practice. So now all of our signals are set up and we should be good. So basically the first thing we're going to do is connect, and then you can disconnect, and then you update your purchases. You make sure that you can create an error message, make queries, acknowledge purchases. There's a lot of stuff here, and then you do this call start connection method once all the signals have been set up. If we run this on the computer, all we're going to get is this else message because it has to run on a phone. And then I've got this show alert method that I call a lot just for my own debugging purposes. And I'm actually going to move that to the center of the screen so that it's more legible. But with that, once we hook up our purchase item pressed method, which I've already made, it's just going to take in our test SKU and try to purchase it. So if the wheels are turning for you right now a little bit, you might see how if you've got, say, 10 items and they all have different SKUs, you could potentially just pass in an argument here in this method and then have it link up to a button which corresponds to your item, which then pulls an SKU. And from there, you can just basically have a working shop that creates real money. So it's pretty cool that you can actually do this and have it set up in about 10 minutes. I didn't set up text wrapping, so that's why it looks ugly. There we go. So we can see I have my purchase button, and Android in-app purchase support is not enabled. Make sure you've enabled custom build. Don't worry about this. If you get this message, it's just because it's not running on the phone. So what I'm going to do here is actually do my remote debugging. And I've got my Android phone already hooked up. And we're going to do select current. And what I'm going to do here is actually have the footage from my phone running so that you can see what this looks like. But anyways, this is kind of what I'm talking about, where the Android build takes a little while to set up. You can see how you go in Godot from debugging and coding. The transition is so seamless to this, where it takes about 20 seconds to set up a build. Maybe longer if you just have a bad Android phone. Like I got a really cheap one just for debugging. It was like $50 off Amazon. And yeah, this thing is a piece of work. But if you see this on my phone, it has the SKU load up, and I can click the purchase button, and I'm going to get a purchase error because it's not actually hooked up to a real SKU, because we have not set up a Google Play console project and then created the in-app purchase. And so that's going to be like the part 2 for this tutorial, but it should be on the screen right now on my phone and the results of what they look like. But anyways, you can kind of see where you would go from here, because once you have the SKUs, this feature works. And once the feature works, you can start making money. Now, there's things you need to consider, especially involving testing, because if you're in a test build, you don't want to have your live SKUs active, because you don't want a testing user with app data that's not going to transfer over to the real version to be able to purchase something that's just going to get taken away. So there's things that you can do to address that. But for now, I think that this is a good start to getting the Godot Google Play billing set up, because really, it is this easy. It only takes about 10 minutes to get it set up, and then the Google Play console stuff takes a little while longer, especially if you've never worked in it before, because there's just a plethora of options. But it's something that it took me an embarrassing amount of time to figure out. Because, most of the time, especially if you're a younger programmer, the answer is on the internet. And this was probably one of the first things where I felt like the answer was not quite on the internet, just GIF wrapped to me. So I had to put in some work. But I hope that this can kind of GIF wrap the in-app purchases to you. So anyways, that's all for part one. And the next one, we're going to go over actually getting our in-app purchases, our project set up, just kind of a walkthrough of the Google Play console. You do have to pay $25 to have an account, so something to consider. But anyways, I will see you next time, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.